going to be doing this every Wednesday for a few weeks.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just to talk about what we're not going to talk about. How
We're
weird that
not.
we called it that.
I'm looking for us. I can't see us. Can you see us live yet? I just
So
want
you
to
might
make.
have to refresh your page.
Oh, there we are. We're live. Okay.
Yeah.
There we are. All right. Hi, everybody.
The idea behind this, Alicia and I were speaking last week. So, I was going to say in Canada, it's 11 o'clock. Here it's 4 o'clock. The
Yes.
the UK. Yeah, so that's a good time for us to sort of meet up. And we wanted to talk about the awakening and what does that mean for everyone? Mass awakening. You've heard the word, people speak about it. Um, if you had to then explain it to anyone, how would you explain that? Mass awakening. And so I think it's what we're seeing very much more now. Many of the memes that are coming up on Facebook and that, it's all about going within, finding yourself, not being distracted by outside influences. That's just a start of what we're going to be talking about. But yeah, you say what you want to, Alicia.
Well, yes. We were called very clearly last week to do this show to sort of help be your guides through this because yeah, the great awakening, the awakening in you and the awakening of us as a collective humanity is certainly not going to be broadcasted on TV. So we're really
No.
focused, both Jackie and I, on coming to you as weekly for the time being to help you ground some of this. I think that is our big priority, wouldn't you say, Jackie?
Absolutely, yeah.
Grounded.
Ground because of all the distractions that we get. We were
Yeah.
talking, yeah.
Yes, there's just so much in the world right now. And I liken the process that we're going through right now as us collectively being in a big shaken snow globe. And then each of us individually also being in our own snow globe within the snow globe, which is also shaking. And so if the Jackie and I can come here every week and give you some insight into what that means for you and how you might be able to navigate it. This is not going to be a place where we come in and debate and talk about politics. That will not come up on this show because there's no place for it. Because what is happening right now is actually much, much bigger than that.
Exactly. Much
Yeah.
bigger than that. There's so much that we're finding out about ourselves, and it's like a continuous, we never stop learning. Years ago, a friend said to me, "Oh, Jackie, you've done enough learning. It's for everyone else to." No, this is a school. This is for us to grow and learn all the time. So yeah, we're talking about when you say about it's not politics or anything, it's now that we're questioning what we are being told and we don't have to go with that flow. We really have to question for ourselves. And if you've seen Alicia and I speak before, Alicia is very much about with the pendulum, testing for yourself or your body pendulum, which you might talk about in a minute. Um, truth, the truth for you. And that might not be the truth for someone else, but really, you're with you 24/7. So you're the one that matters.
Yes. And when you're checking your own truth, what you're also checking is your throat chakra. I wonder what that's about. You're also checking the truth that's coming from your higher self, your higher light team. They're the same thing in the way that I view it. And also then directly connected to source, God, universe, creator. This is how it works, right? And so when you're tuned into truth, the other thing is we're moving out of polarity. So nothing is good, bad, right, or wrong. Everything is actually just is. Okay. So there's something in between here. Because as we're going through this sort of rockiness, with the snow and the globe, nothing's settling yet, right? So there's multiple ways that any one thing in you or out there could land. And so the only thing that we need to worry about or think about or know is truth. So truth and integrity. So when you're connected through either your body pendulum, muscle testing to your higher self, and you have faith and confidence in that, then you know you're being guided and you won't be given the exact answer. That's not how this works. It's not how this works. And you can't dial up ascension or enlightenment. You can't say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get enlightened now. So, I'm gonna hire you and you're gonna enlighten me. That's just not how it goes. And no one has a playbook. We're gonna try to give you one as much as we can here, but there's no playbook for this. So the only thing that I say, and you agree, is to know your own truth.
And when we were speaking just before we come on, um, I said about I'd come on here to do something specific, and I saw Whipsnade Zoo that I went to last year, and straight away clicked on that, and I thought I hadn't seen those photos for a while, so completely distracted myself. But what you're saying is you had the awareness to realise that's what you'd done, and then I went back to what I was going to do. We are distracted and purposefully distracted all the time. So it is for us to realise, to stay in our own power and to stay grounded in our own truth of what
That's right.
we, and not, the fearful, you also mentioned the adverts or what you did the other day about the media.
Mhm.
Years ago when I worked at the school, and apologies if you've heard me say this before, but I don't think I've said it for a long time. I had a teacher that was my teacher when I was at school, love her. But I was then her learning support assistant at school. And she always said to the children, when you're watching the adverts, always look for the lie in the advert. Well, I'd never heard anything like that. And
Mm.
so that's something now for 20 odd years I've done. I always look for the lie in the advert. Um, and there's a lot.
Yes, and it's funny actually. My original university training, I look back, everything happens for you, right? Your whole life, everything's leading you to, well, for all of us in this timeline now. But I took communications, which is interesting, marketing communications. And before I did this professionally, I was a digital marketer and I spent 10 to 15 years learning and understanding even how the algorithms work and how social media works, and now I understand why I understood all of that, because I understand, I can see, I have a knowing, because I grew up in it as it was evolving, what is happening behind the curtain. Which
Yeah.
it's right.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Was relevant as well, but yeah, we'll come to that.
We are coming to that. I just want to address a comment here from Howard, because you are right. He says, through dowsing, you have to ask permission to douse over anyone or anything. Otherwise, it goes against the spiritual laws. That is exactly correct. And so always asking permission if you are using any other tool other than, Howard, your body pendulum. And your body pendulum, if you are directly connected and if you intend to be directly connected to your higher self, which you don't have to ask permission to do that. And that's the way that I work. And that's the way that I ask everyone that I show or mentor to work. However, you are absolutely correct. You always have to ask permission. And if you are going to ask questions about any one other person or thing, you always ask permission before you do so. So absolutely agree, Howard. Good thing for you to bring up here.
Then if you go on YouTube, Jackie White, you'll see our other videos that Alicia and I have done. And when people have asked questions and Alicia's answered, she always asks the pendulum first. Is
Yeah.
that over? Yeah,
Yeah,
always.
it can actually really negatively affect your karma. It can do a lot of things. If you are not dowsing with all of the universal laws, there's many of them, and that's another thing we should probably talk about on one of these shows, because
Mm.
the universal laws are extremely important, right? Always asking for permission, law of reciprocity, um, as above, so below. There is a rule book for light work, and that's absolutely true. However, this is why I am saying your connection to your higher self is the most important thing that any one of you can do right now. because you're never, if you're connected directly to your higher self, you don't have to ask your higher self for permission, right? And all you're looking for is truth,
Mm.
right? A truth and integrity. So I'm using the, map of consciousness, Dr. R. Hawkins methodology, and explaining that piece, okay, with 0 to 1,000 that he has mapped, with truth and integrity being 200. That's sort of my diagnostic tool for checking truth. And if you're connected directly to your higher self, if I am though asking about another being of any kind, or even a book, uh, or any other kind of information, I still ask for permission. Do I have
It's a
permission to
really
ask?
good habit to have. Or well, it's not even a habit, but it's something we really have to do for our own sake as well.
Yeah. And that's actually leads us to what I kind of wanted to talk about today, was how we kind of got in this mess in this first place, um, is not understanding universal laws. So let's mark that down for next week to maybe go over that, because I think it's a really important foundation, because we don't know what we don't know. And so this brings us to kind of what you and I were talking about earlier, and what I've been moving through a lot this week and understanding is the role that of our consent. And this is a really big piece to talk about, because even with your example, how about going over to start to scroll, what
Yes,
you're doing when you're placing your consent, where attention goes, energy flows.
yes,
You're actually, this is kind of really foundational teaching right now, is, where you place your attention, energy goes. And has happened that we don't know about, which is, sort of what I've been dissecting this week and receiving a lot of information about, is that we unconsciously are giving consent to so many things without even consciously being aware of it.
yes,
And we collectively have to take responsibility for that right now, especially more than any other time. Because if you are tuned in, keep using the broadcasting
yeah,
terminal. If you're tuned into this, so we've often talked about it, the split being two earths, right? So let's just talk about this in two streams of consciousness. So if you're tuned in to the narrative of fear, however that presents itself, it doesn't mean you're watching the news. It could mean that you're watching a reel on social media from a YouTuber, that is indirectly um, um, communicating the fear narrative. Then you actually are giving consent to that fear narrative. It's that nuanced, right? And so this is also coming back to the truth testing. So I would invite everybody to even truth test the people you're listening to on social, even us. You know,
absolutely.
does Jackie vibrate over 200? Does Alicia vibrate over 200? Truth and integrity, yes or no? You don't need to know what I vibrate at or what she does, but you do need to know if we vibrate over 200. And some of you were talking earlier about, like, look for the light or look for what's not truth. It's the same thing.
Yes, absolutely. Um, I've lost my flow now when you said about that vibrate over 200, which is a really good thing to do because we did that for each other the other day, didn't we? And
Yeah.
it was a really
Yeah.
positive thing to do, to know that we're, yeah. So you wouldn't even be drawn to watching this if your vibration wasn't around the same, I would imagine.
No, however, what I've noticed is, and I know you know this too, the dial is being turned up on this, um, this experience, the fear-based experience, for lack of a better word, okay?
Oh, right,
As
yeah.
opposed to the new earth. Yeah, this is the division, okay? So this is the new earth timeline. This is all the things that we all want. I don't even think I need to say it. Peace, love, faith, community, all the things, okay? And this is the fear narrative, and we've been stuck over here in the, I call it the suffering. You can call it the 3D, you can call it whatever you want over here. And this is a process, right? So what we have to do is, in order to really get over here, you can't bypass. You can't be like, okay, I'm just going to be all love and light over here. That's not what we're saying either.
Won't happen. No, you couldn't.
No. And it's about recognizing, this is what it truly is about. And from what I see and feel is it's about recognizing when you're not in coherence with something or someone. So there's a diagnostic truth test you can ask your body, is this person in truth and integrity? Okay, yes or no. Your higher self may not tell you, is this true? Yes or no. Your higher self may not tell you because there's so many variables about time with regards to timelines, right? And being privy to know, and whenever there's someone who's psychic and says that they know what's going to happen, no psychic, I am psychic. You cannot predict the future. You can predict a probable timeline. Absolutely. But you cannot. I am psychic. You can't predict the future. It actually goes against the laws as well to actually do that because that can also impact. So what we really need to be learning right now is our truth so that you can actually perceive the noise or the fear narrative. And then if you are triggered by it, so even if you're triggered by what I'm saying right now, there's a reason. If I'm triggering you right now with what I'm saying, there's something there to unpack that you still need to look at and not spiritually bypass. I'm not saying jump over here to the love and the light. I'm saying if I'm triggering you right now, then you need to figure out why. What does that
So
mean?
thank you as well. It's like when something triggers you, to recognize that you're triggered by it, and then that's something that we have to work on. If I'm triggered, I need to work on that. Take responsibility for your own responsibility for
And
where you
and the trigger could be that a shadow version of you or whatever. It could be a trauma that sort of I may be triggering you or this conversation may be triggering you. But it also may be a trigger could be a resonance of truth that you don't want to hear because you want to follow one particular narrative because you are okay. And this gets into the three things that I have
I love
been.
this. Yeah, really
Okay,
need to
yeah.
take a
So
note of
this is sort of your Jackie and I are very committed to giving you as many like working tools to get through this time, okay? And this is the one that has really been helping me and a lot of the people that I work with. So the three things that I have been holding myself to is number one, being the objective observer at all times. Objective observer. Okay, number two, being outcome neutral. And number three, being without judgment. So that includes anything that you're triggered by or that you're being drawn to watch or to always be observing, just like with your explanation of you observed yourself going down that rabbit hole with that,
it.
with content. You observed it, right?
Yes,
And then you were also, so again, and then without judgment. So you didn't judge yourself. You didn't say, oh, I'm doom scrolling again, or oh, I'm so distracted, right? No, you didn't do that, right?
just went
And
back to what I wanted to do. Yeah.
right. So you course corrected, and that's what being conscious is actually. So what you did was actually conscious as opposed to unconscious, or awake as opposed to unawake. And once we as humans start to understand how this actually works and how we've lived in that for so long, and be without judgment of yourself even, that's a really big piece. We're not going to learn to be enlightened and conscious human beings overnight. It's not going to happen.
None of
It's
us.
a process. Yeah. And
We're
then
hypnotized constantly without
constantly.
even realizing it. We are
Constant.
hypnotized.
Mhm.
If you go downstairs in the morning and put the TV or come and put the computer on straight away without giving any thought, that is hypnotic, really, isn't it?
It is. It
You're
is.
not
And
even
the layer
questioning.
and the layers that this has been built on. I mean, when the Second World War happened through propaganda. I mean, once broadcasting, which again comes back to our theme, became what it is, it was very easy to hypnotize. You
Yes.
know, the It,
They actually worked on it. And it's the same with, a very fast food chain, worked on the colours that would make you eat more or be thirsty. And we're hypnotized to the point we don't even realize.
right. And then there's, so many other things layered on top of that, even being the unconsciously consenting to the way things are, even that, you know, we I didn't want to talk about politics, and I'm not picking any side. However, something that that prime my the Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney said yesterday, and truth be told, not a fan of anything political, but the words were that, oh gosh, I said I wasn't going to do politics. So it's not about that. It's about the words he says. It's about that. And he explained that we were just unconsciously participating in the way that the structure of the world was for our own benefit, because it was say, for lack of a better word, I'm just going to paraphrase what he's actually saying, is that we were just unconsciously going along because it served us.
If
So it's
it's
the
not,
same thing
if
that
it's not
we're
broke,
doing.
don't fix it type thing.
Right. And we also all felt powerless. So if
Yeah,
we take that speech and we apply it to us individually or in small groups or small communities, what was said was, we are just putting our store signs out because that's the way it's always been done, and you don't question not just authority, you don't question the way it works, even though, and in the speech he refers to, um, there are, he even uses the word rituals, which I find interesting, that you participate in the rituals. You all do, we all do. We go to work, we go to school,
yeah.
we pay our taxes, you know, um, we said we were not getting anything political, but we're not, because the overlay is this. We're doing that. And no one's saying we rise up and cause a revolution. The revolution is in you. And if each one of us understand consciously what's happening here in this great awakening, can you imagine where we'll be?
Honestly, I hope I can find it because it's just brought to mind something I read yesterday. And this is so perfect for what you've just talked about. This is how indoctrinated we are. So if you hear the word Gaddafi, you think bad, tyrant Gaddafi. But my friend posted this yesterday. Um, Yeah, what this dictator and tyrant Gaddafi did to his people is now becoming known little by little on a daily basis. Here is a list of the atrocities the Libyans suffered for 4 decades. Now, that's clever how that started, but what the atrocities are, there was no electric bills in Libya. Electricity was free for all citizens. There was no interest on loans. State banks issued loans to all citizens at 0%. Home ownership considered a human right. All newlyweds were given 50,000, whatever Libyan money is. This money should enable people to buy their first home. Education and medical treatment free. It goes on and on. And yet we would hear that name, and because of what we've been indoctrinated to believe,
Mhm.
I just thought that was a perfect example. Not
It
believe.
is a perfect example. And you know what? Not every one of us can go down every rabbit hole to research the, authenticity of the original message that we were, either programmed to believe, or it became a belief of ours because of who we were raised with, or, all the things. But now, in this time and space, your vibration and your coherence is everything. Because the truth is that if you're experiencing something that is not truth, your body will tell you.
Yes, absolutely. It's when you trust that, though. It's when
Right.
you begin to trust that, because I always looked outside of myself.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just little by little learning that actually You know within yourself how you feel
Yes.
when you know.
And I guess step one in all this is becoming confident in your own coherence, your own ability to intuitively know. Do you need to know that this is true or not true? No, you don't. But you can feel if you're consciously aware or coherent, you can feel when something doesn't feel right. Does it mean you know exactly why it doesn't feel right? No. And sometimes it may be a shadow, a shadow in you that is pulling out, right? And so being consciously aware of, being the observer is like step number one in all of this.
Yes.
Observe. If I were to give any homework from this week to next, for those of you listening, it would be observe how you feel when go on to your social media feed. Observe how you feel when you turn on your television show at night, or be the observer. How do you feel? What's a resonance in your body? And if you're I'm a clairsentient, so that's my first mode of sort of measuring coherence. But some of you see, some of you just know, some of you get cognitive drops. So all of that is relevant. And then back to the body pendulum or muscle testing, connecting to your higher self, that's your sort of verification tool, right? That's the way that you verify what you were understanding, or what you are feeling or experiencing in a specific situation.
Going to try and stick to the half hour each week, and we've got
Oh my
two
goodness.
minutes. So just before we finish on today's, can you just explain the body pendulum for anyone that doesn't know?
Yes, I would love to. Okay, so I also highly recommend everybody do this. I'm sure you
So
do this.
important.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to actually take you through a quick exercise that will help you not only connect to your higher self, but will also help to ground you. And that's the most important thing you can do. And the other thing is we're going to do a little heart activation of opening up and creating a vortex of light, your auric field, sealing it. This is also something that's really going to help you navigate as sort of the storm, maybe the snow globe, maybe the flecks of the snow globe maybe coming in and out of your awareness. Grounding and being in your knowing and being confident in that is the most important thing that you can do. So I'm going to show you how to connect to your higher self and check your body pendulum really quickly here in the next moment. So if you're driving, don't close your eyes and you're listening to this. But if you are somewhere where you can do this, and I also recommend placing a hand, maybe the right hand on your heart and another one maybe on your stomach or your solar plexus area. This also helps you to ground your physical body, because your physical body and nervous system is also impacted by frequency and energy. So then what you want to do is, once you do that, close your eyes, and then you come into your breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And even in just this moment, just notice how your body is coming down in frequency, and do that one more time, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then bringing your focus or in your attention into your heart right now. Some of you may actually feel tension in there. Keep the breath going in through the nose, out through the mouth. And now just feel or know or see, visualize a ball of light in your heart. And now use your breath, expand it bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm going to keep going with the Wizard of Oz theme today. Imagine the Glenda the Good Witch bubble now over your bodies and fields. And then just because we can, we're going to add a layer of gold around that too. So just visualize it. If you don't see it, visualize it. And if you can also visualize the colors or bright white light within your bubble, it's also something you can do to help raise your frequency, raise your vibration. So this is your protected auric field now. It's a beautiful shield. Then you come back into your physical body. You can also imagine a tail or a light cord from your root chakra, which is at the back, your tailbone. And imagine sending that cord all the way down into the earth, grounding you. And imagine once you get to the place, wherever it is you've sent your cord, maybe it looks like a root, maybe it is like an elevator. Connect that elevator or that root to either the ground in New Earth or a crystal or something to charge you. And Jackie, since you have a cold, I'm going to ask you now to imagine flushing all that energy that needs to be purged all the way down through that elevator, through the body, into the ground, into the earth. And just feel all of it melting down. Just do it a couple more times. There we go. Push it all the way down. So what you have just done here is you've reset your frequency. You've told your body it's safe. You've grounded yourself and you've moved energy out that you don't need into the ground. Then now, once you have done this, you've reset your energy. So now if you're standing, you can stand and do this, or you can sit and do this. And it might be different if you're sitting or standing, but this is the body pendulum, the sway test, okay? Checking your truth, okay? So then what you're going to do if you're standing, your body's going to move a certain way, like you're being pulled by a magnet. And if you're sitting, it might be also being pulled, but you might also move a different way. You might actually get chills for truth. It's different for everybody. But what you need to do is notice. Okay, so notice I say truth. So that's not yes or no, although that can be interpreted as yes or no. It's truth. Okay, so if you're standing, your body's going to move one way for truth or yes. And then Jackie, you can do it sitting since, all right. And then you're just literally going to ask your higher self through your body, please show me my truth. Please show me yes. Yeah, mine's a back and forth. I'm moving on. I'm doing it already as I sit here. What's yours?
And mine was forward. I
Forward. Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
thought it would be.
Yeah. Is your stand up
It's forward.
direction forward too? Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
So is
Yeah,
my name Frederick? You know, I'd have
you go backwards.
gone back. Yeah.
Yeah. So even when you're sitting, it's the same.
Oh yeah. Let's just see.
So
Oh
my
yes,
yes,
straight away.
yeah. So my yes is backwards.
Mm.
My
Oh.
yes, yeah. But my yes sitting is like this. My
Mm.
body just does it. And then my no standing is to my right.
Wow.
And my no sitting is usually just I don't move.
I
Or
mean,
I
I
start,
would normally stand for this anyway. You
oh
know,
yeah.
it's very rare would I be sat down for
Yeah, but
this.
I recommend everybody practice both. Okay. And
Literally in the shop when you're buying anything, food wise, if you're in any doubt, hold it to you and is this a yes or a no?
yeah,
Do
is
I
this
need this? Does my body need this?
yeah.
Mm.
So there's all different ways of using it. From a diagnostic perspective, what you're saying is if you're in the shop and you've got, say, vitamins or something, you're saying, is this vibrating high enough for me? Could I use this at this time? Yes or no? Okay. And you can use it for, should I have a nap right now? Because sometimes your mind wants to say, no, I can't do that. I have all these things to do. So again, this is bringing you back to being the objective observer. Because if you're the objective observer, you can connect to your higher self and let your higher self or your guardian angel, which your higher self is, and or truth, creator, God, guide you where your mind, your ego, your nervous system, um, well, they've been sort of programmed over here. So we have to be in non-judgment of that version of us. We can't judge ourselves for it. However, I mean, I don't know how I lived 43 years of my life without having this tool, like this ability. I don't know how I did it. I don't know how I survived. You, Jackie?
No, once you know it, it's so good. We're gonna have to finish now, really.
Yeah, we did
Okay.
good. Only 6 minutes over.
Done well.
Well,
But we'll
it was a
see.
pleasure. Yes, thank you.
No, thank you. Oh, we're gonna just share this screen. Um, that was about the trigger, but we just wanted to share. I'll do that one next week and that one. Oh, where's the one I wanted to show? There. Alicia and I are going to do a 2-week Zoom, um, which is 7 to 8:30. Anyway, I'll put it underneath this when I share it. A 2-part transformational experience where you'll get every opportunity to ask questions. Anyway, we're looking
Yep.
forward to that. That's
Yes.
March the 3rd and March the 10th online.
Yes. And we will be here every week for the time being on
Yes.
Wednesdays. Very excited.
Yes. Brilliant. Lots of love. Thank you, anyone watching
Bye, everyone.
now or later.